Hey, welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Blip Podcast. I'm Nolan,
And I'm Joey.
and we're talking about the Snyder Cut teaser trailer. Cue music. Okay, so Snyder Cut teaser trailer came out about a week ago. We've been a little late on this because we got so much stuff has come out this week. This is less of a trailer breakdown. You can find a bajillion different YouTube channels that are doing that. This is a little more of kind of our thoughts and opinions as we look through the trailer.
To be honest, I was actually kind of surprised this dropped because not too long ago is when they released that they were going to release the Synder Cut.
Yes.
And then just out of nowhere, they already have a trailer. So I think they were like editing it before they even announced that they were releasing it.
So I think it was because they already had all the full footage. Like, this is just a re-edit. But I think Zack Snyder was actually editing it because he's been posting pictures on Instagram for a while of like, "Ooh, the Snyder Cut. Ooh, here are the original film rules." So I have a suspicion that he was editing it before they even announced it. And if they didn't purposely announce it, he would see if he could get the rights to announce it. So that makes sense. It's also only 30 seconds long, and it's basically nothing.
Unless that's how he pitched them to actually want to release it, was he made his a rough cut of it or a trailer for it, and then showed the studio, and then they cleared it.
That's probably what happened. Honestly, that's probably what happened. He was like, "I've already done all this work. It won't cost you $1 bajillion to do this." Okay, first thing in the trailer, completely new scene. That looks like it's the payoff of a completely new thing. So it starts off with the dialogue that's Lex Luthor at the end of Batman and Superman going, "The bell will not be unrung. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling."
That's a pretty good impression.
Yes, exactly. Right, thank you. If they ever need to fire Jesse Eisenberg, I have no problem shaving my head bald. But it's Gal Gadot walking in a room that looks like some sort of ancient cavern or like medieval place. At first, I thought it might be that something to do with the museum she works at, and maybe she's using that as like kind of a cover to investigate these things. So that might be a potential thing that's happening. But let me see. Okay, so the first thing you have like Lex Luthor, keeps going like, "But in the dark, among the stars," whimpers, as we zoom in on a clear depiction of Darkseid and the comic book Darkseid, dude.
So that just kind of just makes like 10 million different speculations, because then it feels like it's a completely different movie and not the Justice League that was released in what, 2017?
17, yeah, 3 years ago now.
Yeah, so they're this teaser trailer basically just, I think they did this like to show that it will be a lot different to get fans excited. So they don't think it's gonna be like, oh, there's just gonna be a couple more scenes added to it. So it's more like an extended cut. But like, no, this is actually gonna end up being a completely different movie.
I think, yes, you're right. This is a smart move. This is not like, I don't know if you've ever seen, this isn't like they did the Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition, which is, I watched, and it's nothing like new plot-wise. It just adds in a bunch of deleted scenes, and I honestly think that's we won't go into that, but I think the Ultimate Edition is better. But this is a totally different movie. Obviously, you'll have some stuff that comes over from the Justice League. But I did see this thing that was saying that almost every single scene Superman is in the Justice League 27 movie, he has the digital mustache removed. And the only time he had the mustache was in reshoots, which means that most of the Superman footage filmed was not used.
Oh.
And that's a lot of shit, because he was doing that for 2 years, filming the Justice League.
I mean, also, too, if you think about it, Superman wasn't in it much. It was just his resurrection, and then he disappeared until the very end of the fight.
Yes, and I think the only thing that came over from the Snyder Cut is probably going to be when he comes back and he's evil. That seems to be, that fight scene,
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be part of it, and they'll probably add more in. So I don't know. But the next scene is like almost nothing, but it completely rewrites the movie. It is in the Justice League. I don't. If you're listening to this, you definitely already know. In the Justice League, you see Steppenwolf come down, and they're like, Steppenwolf came to Earth once, and he was very angry because he got defeated, and then he ran away, and it drove him.
That kind of sounded like a mixture of Gru from Despicable Me and Bane.
I have a niche on bald, big-shouldered men with strange accents, but squirrels, where are the squirrels?
If Steve Carell ever gets fired, take over.
I know, yeah, no, but what was I saying? I'm not my train of thought. So here's a little backstory. I'm going fucking crazy. Excuse my French. I'll have to bleep that out. And it's super hot here, so I spent this morning doing like a Gollum impression to myself. So I was in the kitchen like making eggs pretty early this morning. It was like 6 or 7, and I was like, "But we need the eggs, precious. The eggs, they're so tasty." And if anyone came in, like if they had done like an inspection of my apartment, they'd be like, 911? Yeah, this dude has gone freaking bonkers."
Dude, I always knew you did good impressions. I thought they were pretty funny. But hearing you say them without actually seeing your face is even more terrifying. Oh, man.
Yeah. And then, yeah, well, I forget what we were saying. Oh, yeah, so they have a complete re-edit of that Before Time sequence in which it is Darkseid. Or it seems to, it's either Darkseid or maybe a very, very different version of Steppenwolf. It's a little bit hard to tell because everyone's jumping the gun. They're like, it's Darkseid, but there's a chance. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. No, it might be Darkseid. Okay, I think it's Darkseid.
Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of wondering, if Darkseid's actually going to play a big part and appear in the movie, or it's just going to be just like the first Avengers, how you had Loki as the main villain, and that's Steppenwolf. And then you just introduce Thanos. That's going to lead on later on to a big Infinity War type movie with Darkseid. I don't know if they're kind of going down that same route with this.
I hope they do. I also think another thing that people have kind of speculated that I think is most likely is that Steppenwolf will be in it, but in the comics Darkseid has like a bunch of different henchmen almost. They have Big Barda, who leaves. They got a bunch of like really good characters from Apocalypse. So there's a chance what they might do is have the movie have a couple of those characters, make it interesting. Again, I don't know how much extra footage there is, because they can't just start adding in new characters, but then the question is, were there characters that just got cut out? Because I've also heard, obviously speculations are rampant for everything, but like, was it Iris West was shot in this movie, so we know there's more Flash stuff, we know there's more Cyborg stuff, we know there's more Superman stuff. Apparently there's more. I didn't think we'd get more Wonder Woman stuff, but the trailer shows that there's more Wonder Woman stuff. My guess is there's not. I'm gonna guess that there's not too much more Batman stuff, because Ben Affleck was kind of going through a rough time when they filmed that movie. So my guess is that he won't be like, if they're like, oh, everyone come back to do a couple reshoots for the Zack Snyder's Justice League. My guess is he will not be on board for that, but you never know.
I think Cyborg's the number one Justice League member that I think they needed to add more with, because he was actually a big part of that plot, but there wasn't enough. That's why I feel like he needed his own solo movie before that one. I think they all did, but him specifically.
I think the biggest, they had the problem of lack of Cyborg stuff, and then a lot of the Flash stuff is confirmed to be reshoots, a bunch of the Flash stuff, and they made him less of a compelling character and more of the the comedic foil. You know what I mean? Like, there's that one scene where he's like talking to his dad, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my mother's been murdered," but for the most part, the guy's like, what do you think about brunch? Oh, brunch is just the worst. Oh, brunch. And you're like, I'm not 100% sure that your character checks out.
Yeah, I think the Flash is the only character in the Justice League that they could have gotten away with not doing a solo movie before. They could have done him like how they did Spider-Man in Civil War, just
Yes.
kind of just throw him in, introduce him, because he had Ben Affleck find him, like it seems like he doesn't fit in with the pack. He's different than everyone, like goofy, weird, funny kid.
Yeah.
And so then he could have done that, and then after that Justice League movie, they could have done his solo film that tied everything together.
My guess is that's something what the original plan was. Because you're right. I think Batman has training. Wonder Woman has training. Cyborg has Star Labs, his father, and he could download training. Aquaman had training. Superman had training. And then they could have had Flash as the POV character where he has all these powers. He's not 100% sure how to do it or what to do with them. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of be as like... He's kind of like... This team of superheroes is mentoring this kind of like almost like foster kid where he doesn't know what he's doing, which is a cool concept, and I think that's kind of what they're going for, because you have cool scenes in Justice League where Batman's like, just save one, and then just
because they were saying how I think he's still new to the powers, because he said he'd never actually been in like a real fight before. He just pushes people and run. That's what he said. So I don't think there was any plot for him to have a movie that takes place before Justice League. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it worked out for his character without having one.
And that's probably why he is the only one, as of right now, who there's still talks about. Obviously, like Wonder Woman 2, and then, but he's the only one out of the Justice League movies that were introduced in the Justice League that people are still heavily considering a solo film for. I mean, Aquaman, obviously, I'm super excited for Aquaman 2, but I don't know. I hope this doesn't screw up like Aquaman 2 or Shazam 2 or Black Adam and stuff. Because as much as I'd like the Snyder Cut to be good, I need Shazam 2.
Shazam is great.
I know. Okay, weird thing. That's basically... We don't have anything else really to go over. But it just popped up on a feed because I looked up... I have the Justice League trailer on my iPad as I'm going through this. The first trailer for Justice League was published over 3 years ago. That is crazy.
Time flies.
And by the time Justice League, the Zack Snyder comes out, Batman vs Superman will be 5 years old.
Oh my god!
They waited way too long for this.
I think the only reason why they're doing the Snyder Cut is because HBO Max. Without that streaming service, I don't think they would have ever released it.
Nope, I'm with you on this one. I think that the HBO Max is kind of the hidden savior, even though it's not doing too well. And I mean, we have it, but sometimes I don't know if this happens to you, but it crashes a lot if I'm watching shit on my phone. But
I don't know. I just watch it on my Fire Stick, so.
Gotcha. I watch it on my phone, and it's kind of riddled with bugs. But I think that the Snyder Cut might be its saving grace.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope it's good.
I do. Yeah. No. Obviously, I'm always up for stuff. I hope that they do Black Suit Superman. I hope that there's more Darkseid stuff. I hope that it forces them to make some sort of second one or tie-in. Also, Darkseid is technically a multiversal villain, so they could have that tie into the Michael Keaton thing that we talked about the other day. Yeah. So there's just so much stuff that could happen.
I just hope that when the movie's over, I'm just in shock and paused, and I'm just like thinking to myself, that is not the same movie I watched 5 years ago. Like that's a different movie.
No, you're right. Even watching the trailer, I'm like, this looks like a trailer for a second film. Like, none of the footage is the same. It looks like they're heavily going into the Darkseid thing, which is maybe name dropped twice in the...
Come to the dark side.
Yes, no, exactly. But it's mainly, like, name dropped twice in the entire freaking movie. So the fact that there's multiple plot points with him in it, I'm like, okay, Excuse me. This is good. Yeah, that's all I got on the Snyder Cut. I feel like we've been talking this to death, but every couple weeks they do a new huge bomb on this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's... just wait until next week. We'll probably get more news about it.
Honestly, you're probably not wrong. So check back in. What else we got? Okay, so that is our another episode of the Blip Pod. Check us out on the Blip Pod at all the social medias. Check out Joey Harris 2168 on TikTok. He's got good. You got good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just
you can hear our podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor.
Yep. If you're on, check us out. Look up the Blip Podcast on Spotify. Where a little picture. If you're listening to this, you know what our picture looks like. But yeah, I think that's all we got for today.
Mm-hmm.
So check in all the time. We do videos on new little news blips that come out. We do videos on stuff we like or don't like. We just have some opinion pieces sometime. We got some stuff coming up. We've been working on doing some of the DC Comics movies. But, oh yeah, we were working on doing some of the DC Comics movies and recorded a commentary on Batman and Robin, which was a little critical. And Joel Schumacher has passed this week, so rest in peace, Joel Schumacher. And he did do some good movies, so we're gonna delay. We'll push that back a little bit for
respect.
Yeah, for respect. That doesn't definitely not something. It was supposed to come out on the day of his death, so not something we want to do there. Am I missing anything?
I think that's it.
Okay, in that case, stay positive.
Stay nerdy.
And we'll see you later.